Welcome to FailCraft, the podcast where we dive into the messy, real side of success and explore how setbacks become the stepping stones to growth and clarity. I'm your host, Ezekiel Iferia, and today's guest is Christine Valdes, a powerhouse sales executive and real estate investor who has led teams of over 150 people and driven hundreds of millions in revenue. Her journey started humbly, earning minimum wage as a single mother and with very limited resources. She's here to share how she navigated the imposter syndrome and financial struggles of those early days to build a life of ownership, proving that where you start doesn't have to define where you finish. So, Christine, it's a pleasure to welcome you to Philcraft. Thank you for joining us.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you here. So, let's get things started. Your bio says you're living proof that where you start doesn't define where you finish. So you began your career earning minimum wage, and you've spoken about the humble beginnings of being a single mom. So can you take us back to a specific moment from those early days? Maybe, a time you felt completely overwhelmed or financially stuck, and just share with us what that rock bottom felt like.
Yeah, rock bottom is hard. It's hard. I was actually going to college and I did have a child, and had to work, right? Because you got to pay for daycare if you want to still go to school. You got to get all of that stuff done. And when you hit rock bottom, you're trying to figure out where am I going to get money to buy milk or to buy food, right? And so for me, rock bottom was when I moved to San Francisco and I had my daughter, my 18-month-year-old with me, and I had $90 to my name. And I had no place to live. I actually did. I was at my friend's house and I was sleeping on her couch with my daughter and I had to figure it out, right? So I did get on, the services like food stamps. I did get on food stamps. I did get on WIC just to help me out, just at least to get food on the table. And then I looked for a job. I mean, at that point when you don't have any cash and you're trying to look for a job, but you don't have daycare, you are trying to find places that'll watch your child, and you're writing bounce checks in order to get someone to watch your daughter so you can go to an interview. So it's hard. It's not just that the task, it's also your mindset. Like there's this dread of what's going to happen next. Am I going to have enough? Am I going to make it? And there's this dread and there's this almost like anxiety and panic, and you have to constantly check yourself and make sure that you're not going to, sometimes you feel like you're going to lose it. Like I can't do it anymore kind of feeling. Like, am I going to make it? Right? Are we going to make it? So that was the rock bottom. It was hard because your mind is telling you one thing. The other side of your mind is telling you, oh my God, it's not going to happen. Just go home, just stay with your parents, take the easy way. But the other part of you that believes that you're meant to do something, that you're meant to be more than where you are today is telling you keep pushing, keep going.
All right. Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. So, you talk about overcoming imposter syndrome on your way to the boardroom. So, was there a specific moment where you felt like you didn't belong in those executive rooms, and how did you talk yourself through that?
Yeah, imposter syndrome is really interesting, right? Because it's like you're feeling like you don't belong, right? I think we all have it. Like, do I really belong in this room with all of these really smart people that talk a certain way, that look a certain way, that have these really expensive clothing? It's like I don't know as much information as they do. But the reality is that when you do have imposter syndrome, it's really about realizing that you're there because you have accomplished already. it's just that the belief in yourself internally hasn't caught up with it, hasn't caught up with the accomplishments that you have. So a lot of times when we have imposter syndrome, like we feel like we're not there, but we deserve to be there. That's the reason why we're there, right? That's the reason why we're in this room. That's the reason why we've gotten this opportunity, because we've made the accomplishments to get there. It's just our belief system in ourself is not there yet. Hasn't caught up. Our belief system is still where we were when we started. We just haven't caught up to that. So there's a couple of things that you do, right, in order to say, I belong here. A lot of people who have imposter syndrome say, oh, I just got lucky, right? Some people say, oh, I just got lucky. But instead, maybe saying, I showed up and delivered. That's why I'm here. Like, you have to start saying these things out aloud. Some people say, I don't know if I belong here. I don't know everything like you guys do. But instead of saying, I don't know everything, you can say, well, no one knows everything, but I'm learning and I will know everything at some point, right? Um, some people say, I have imposter syndrome. Oh my gosh, like in your mind, you're thinking, are they going to find out that I'm not qualified enough to be here? Right? Because that's what you're saying to yourself. Am I going to be found out? Instead, say, I am qualified to be here because I'm growing. All my accomplishments have got me here. That's why I'm here. Right. But a lot of people with imposter syndrome saying, gosh, am I good enough to be here? Like, am I smart enough? Have I done enough to be here? The problem is when you say, have I done enough? You're comparing yourself to what you think you have to do, not what this group or what these people think you have to do. Right. So the trick isn't to eliminate the imposter syndrome. It's really to interpret it correctly. So imposter syndrome, really, when you're feeling that way, it's a sign that you're leveling up. It's not that you're unqualified, right?
All right.
So yeah, speaking that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, really, really great response, dear Christine. So, you transition, like for you, transition from living paycheck to paycheck to becoming a real estate investor requires a massive shift in how you view money. So, what was the hardest financial fear or habit, you had to unlearn to start investing?
Yeah. It's funny. Someone told me a long time ago, they said, what did they say? They said poor people, they think about, or maybe it was something I read. They said people who don't have a lot of money, they look at money as, I'm never going to have enough. And so they're always holding on to their money. And then the middle class think of money as, it's always credit. I have to have good credit so I can get credit. It's all about getting credit. And then people who have money, they told me that people who have money look at it like, I have money, it's there to make more money. Right. So I had to really shift the way I looked at money, because for a long time, because I was in that situation where I didn't have money, I was always scared that I was going to lose my money. Right. And so
Yeah,
you're afraid to spend. You start a business and you're like, oh, I don't want to spend the money. I don't have the money yet to spend on marketing. Right. So these entrepreneurs are too afraid to spend the money because they're like, oh, I don't have the money yet. I gotta get there and then I'll spend the money. But heck, you need to spend the money on marketing in order to get business. Right. But you're so, wow, held tight to it. And I had to start looking at my wealth building. Like, okay, for example, I had a sum of money. I wanted to invest in this fund. My old self would have been, heck no, I would never put that $50,000 in that fund, right? I would never do that. It's too risky. It's too risky. But I was looking at it like, oh, this fund is an 18-month fund. I get a 25% return in less than 18 months. Heck yeah. 25% return, possibly more. Heck yeah. That's more than what I'm gaining in my stock portfolio. My stock portfolio is doing well now, 11, 12%, but on average, I'm getting 7. So I'm looking at the percentages, right? So that's the first thing. I'm looking now at the percentages of how I'm building my wealth with the money I have. 2, I look at money as, where are we? Honestly, I look at it like, where's inflation today? And how could I make more money than inflation? So for example, if I put my money in a savings account today, how much are we making on a savings account? 2%, right? You put $100 in a savings account, you're going to make 2%, for example, in a year. I don't know if it's 2% right now, but I'm just giving an example. Inflation, say, is 5%. So at the end of the year, you've lost 3% of your money, right? So
Yeah.
I'm always looking at it from the economic perspective. Well, I would never put my money in a savings account. I would put it in something that's going to gain more. So say, for example, I want to take some money. I'm going to lend it to somebody at 10%. I'll lend you my 50,000. Here's all the paperwork. You pay me 10% on that money in a year. So I'm going to make 10% off of that money minus inflation. Now my gain is 5%. Whereas if I put it in savings, my gain is 2%, but inflation is 5. I've lost 3% of my money. You see that? It's kind of hard to see it as you shift, but as you start shifting and looking at money differently, it becomes easier to assess it. The third thing is when I didn't have money, I always thought it's hard to get money. Oh, there's no money out there. But my perspective now is that there's so much money out there. There's an unbelievable amount of money. You can easily get money. You just have to figure out how to get there. You got to be resourceful, figure out how to get that money. There's grants, there's business loans, there's private money lenders that are willing to give you money. As long as the deal is profitable for them, there's a way to get money.
All
So
right.
hopefully it makes sense.
Yeah, very, very insightful response there. So, you've led huge teams. So, did
Mhm.
your own struggles in those early days shape the way you lead people now? Do you spot potentials differently because of your own path?
Yeah, absolutely. I think because I've struggled in many facets, not only from building my own wealth, but to coming off of welfare to building, this life that I have, to becoming an investor and having, you know, not so great flips, right? The house flips. Um, and just working with so many different types of people, I've realized that everybody has, like, people always say, oh, this is happening to me, but everybody has their own issues. Everybody has their own problems that they're working through, or their challenges, right? I don't want to say problems, challenges. So I try to look at it as a person as a whole and say, okay, what are they really after? Number one, what do they really need from me? And what are the expectations for their job, but also where are they coming from, so I can approach them where they're at versus approaching them to where I want to approach them. So it's definitely helped me. I hope so. I hope so. It's helped me to develop a lot of people over the years, and hopefully, all of those people, whether they've worked for me or moved for other companies, what I'm most proud of is the people who have worked for me. I hope that they've learned enough, not only for their job, but for their personal life, that they've been able to build their wealth and do well at their next job. I mean, that's the ultimate goal for me.
You mentioned owning more without quitting. So many people think they have to quit their job to build wealth, so which feels like a huge risk. So how did you navigate that fear of failure while balancing a high stakes career and building a portfolio?
Yeah, a lot of people I know quit their jobs. A lot of entrepreneurs I know had really great jobs and they quit their jobs to uh, go after their entrepreneurship. And I understand that. Some people believe that you have to focus on one thing and get really good at one thing to be able to do what you want to do. I didn't fall in that realm. I mean, look, I have a very demanding job. I work 80 hours a week, right? I travel as well. So it's not like you know, I have extra time to build a business or to do all of these other things. Um, but I like what I do. I love what I do. I love the people that I influence. I love the customers that we have and what we do for them and what we do for their patients. I really do feel like I'm giving back to the people who are working for me and working for our company. And so it's hard for me to leave that. When I first started entrepreneurship and I was still, I'm at my job now, everybody was quitting their job and I'm like, yes, I'm going to quit my job in like a year. This is what I'm going to do. You know what I mean? And be like everybody else. And then I realized I don't have to take the same path as everybody else. I just have to balance my time a little bit better, find ways to get the work done, the entrepreneur stuff done, VAs, whatever it is. I just have to be smarter about how I manage my time, um, and spend the time where I need to spend it, like not doing the minimum wage activities. So AI has been super helpful, right? But if there's a minimum wage activity that somebody that I can pay $10 an hour to do, I'm going to pay someone $10 an hour to do it versus me doing it. And I'm not trying to demean the job by saying that it's a minimum wage. I'm just saying that it doesn't require a huge amount of skill set to do it. So why should I spend my time doing that? So I've had to shift the things I do in order to be able to do my day job and to do the entrepreneurship. Yes, maybe I haven't been able to build my entrepreneur, the businesses I want as quickly as possible because I am at my day job, but I feel like I have a duty at my day job to service the people that I have been given to lead. Um, and because, I have my faith, and my faith is if God has put me in that position, then he's put me in that position for a reason. And if I'm there for the reason to really develop people, to help people, whatever the case is, I'm going to do that because that's what the Lord has asked me to do. So,
So, Christine, after climbing from minimum wage to is executive leadership and building your own investment portfolio, I like to ask, what does being successful truly mean to you now?
oh gosh, before it was about making a lot of money, a long time ago. Now it's not about just wealth. It's about building enough net worth, right? Because wealth is different than net worth, right? Building enough net worth that it creates enough passive income so that I spend more time with my family and I have more time to enjoy, right? That's what success is for me. I'm not quite there yet in my view of what success is, but I will be there, right? I will build enough net worth that produce enough passive income that I can be comfortable, right? And have all that time with my family. That's the goal for me.
All right,
Yeah.
really fantastic one. So finally, Christine, for our listeners who want to connect with you, learn more about investing or follow your journey, so where is the best place for them to go?
They can go to LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn at Christine Valdez, so you can go to LinkedIn. Follow me there, connect with me there. I do have a website, christinevaldez.com. You can go there as well. Um, and I'll probably at some point be giving some free webinars on investing in the near future. So if you go on there and you check me out, you connect with me either on LinkedIn or on Christine Valdez, or on Instagram, Christine Sario Valdez on Instagram.
All right, Christina, it's been such an empowering conversation with you today, and I'm truly excited to have you on the show.
Thanks, Ezekiel. I appreciate your time today.